How the heck are you, everybody? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to my channel. We're talking Gear Raid 2 today. Specifically, this is going to be a guide for Gear Raid 219, focusing on what I consider the absolute bare minimum sweatiest comp that you need to beat 219 free to play. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out we're rocking this comp with one of the lowest BPs to ever do it, sub 300k, 288,510. It's gonna get sweaty. If you guys have missed it, a very successful video on my channel is my free-to-play Epics Only 219 comp. Go check it out if you want a very in-depth guide. That's not what this one's going to be. This one is going to be much more focused on builds and, kind of the minimum stats and skill ups and awakenings and things like that to allow this comp to work. It's going to be the same comp. This one even more free-to-play, I believe. Maybe it's actually the exact same comp now that I think about it. But it's using all epics and rares plus an A1 Volka, who obviously is free-to-play. You get her from the free-to-play storyline quests. Shout out to Jake. I'm on his account right now. Jake actually has done some cool coding for us for our website. That should be coming out within the next 2 weeks. I can officially announce we are hoping that the beta comes out in 6 days, 5 or 6 days, and I will demo that on stream. If everything goes smoothly, within 5 to 7 days from that point, we're coming out with a website, baby. I cannot wait. So, like I said, if you want to know every in-depth little tiny thing from the strategy, I implore you to check out my 219 guide. That one is totally free to play, but obviously I was using my own gear, which I scaled back dramatically. But still, it's not the same as going into someone's account, a nice young account here like Jake's, not too young. A nice mid-game account here like Jake's, that doesn't have all the awakenings, doesn't have everything max skilled, and this is really as sweaty as it's gonna get. I think a lot of people can use this as a reference because on my 219 guide, a lot of times people will be like, oh, your Maul has less attack than my Maul. Why does it work for you and not for me? Well, because there's a lot of extra nuance that goes into that. Like, did you build a set? What artifacts were you running? How much crit damage? Were you crit capped? What was your Dolores build like? So on and so on and so on. I want to address those build questions in this video with an even more bare minimum-y setup, because that's what we have got here. Right before we get into that, we do have a brand new promo code. Shout out to Pop, a nice viewer who's active on Facebook, and that's where this was shared. Thank you for your enthusiasm. We've reached 100,000 followers on YouTube. And if you can't read it there, it says YTB 100K fans. So assuming Jake has not claimed this yet, I just went live, so I don't think he has. Let's plug that in for him. So it says YTB 100K. Whoop, not 1,100, not yet. Not 1.1 million yet. YTB 100K fans. It should be 300 diamonds. Look at that. Pretty sweet. This is a good code. 300 diamonds. A lot of times they're just like 100 diamonds. 300 diamonds is pretty generous. We'll take that. No, thank you, sir. And look at that. Not too shabby. We got 300 diamonds for Jake. Absolutely excellent. I'm not going to claim that. I'll leave that here for him as a surprise. Okay, without further ado, let's get into Gear Raid 2. So if I pull this open, I will show you the comp. You can see we just beat this a couple hours ago. Late into the night, early into the morning, depending on how you want to call it. There you go. Super, super free-to-play squad. Like I said, lots of purple and blue with a touch of A1 Volka. I'll show you everything. I will still take you through the run like it is a guide, but the chief focus of this video is going to be the specific hero builds. I want to show you guys how I constructed this team composition. So let's get into it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Alrighty, friends. So I'm just going to go down these two lines hero by hero, show you the builds, talk about it. Whenever there's a moment that something could be optimized to make it easier for you, I will point that out. Without further ado, let's talk about Baron. Baron is really straightforward. I just quick equipped him. His gear does not matter at all. His job is just not to die. If you want to use him the way you're going to see me use him here, because maybe you don't have a good enough DPS to kill the first few mobs, the first 2 mobs that come out, that is the case we are in. He needs some semblance of tankiness. Not too much, but some semblance. So you can see we got him at 68k, 3673 defense. Nothing too crazy here at all, right? But we're going to have him tank the first 2 mobs just for a moment. But you want to make sure he doesn't die instantaneously, and then he goes to his passive, and we use it all up. So speaking of his passive, for skill ups, all that you need is this passive, and you need it to be comfortable. You need it at level 4. You need it to last for 7 seconds. It can work and be very sweaty at level 3, so it's going to last for 6 seconds. There is one caveat, though, that can make this easier for you if you've pulled several copies of Baron. If we look over here at his A3, you're going to get 3 seconds duration from his A3. So actually, if you have got him A3, he doesn't need any skill ups at all, because that's your 7 seconds right there. This is a 4-second base, you know, when it's not skilled up, and this gives you 3 seconds. 7 seconds will make it comfy enough. It will work. 8 seconds would make it better. 9 would make it even better. 10, 11, right? If you want to keep skilling it up over here, right? But 7 seconds is what I find for it to be comfortable, the easiest for it to work. Otherwise, 6 seconds if you're an absolute sweat god. Aside from that, gear does not matter, and if you don't use him to tank, it literally doesn't matter. For artifact, I'll just show you we are running him in a Rex's Vow. That helps when he puts his shield up, but usually he doesn't even get a shield up in this fight, so this stuff really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Moving right along to Olague. So Olague is going to be one of our 2 tanks. He's our better of the 2 tanks. Our other tank, Livian's, only at 5 stars. Like I said, this is going to be a sweaty comp. This is an A2 Olague maxed out. All that really matters on Olague is that you have this skill maxed out. You could get away with not having it maxed out, quite frankly. This is going to make it a lot more mindless and easy, but this isn't like Artifact Material Raid where like it's a requirement that you've maxed this skill out. If we go over here to the gear, little rhyme there, you can see we don't even have all plus 16 things, you know, super normal gear. Lots of blue rolls, not even the strongest blue rolls in the world, all below 2 lines. Again, all blue. Here we got a nice flat defense. Rage regen does not help. We never use his ultimate, so really not the best gear. We didn't even max out our breastplate, which obviously would have given us some more flat HP, and we could have really used that defense bonus. And then if you look over here, big flat HP, and then a little flat defense, but not really good HP bonus at all. We're really just looking for a life force set, and then any HP bonus mains with any other slightly relevant tank stats. All in all, it's a super normal build, 76k with 4920 defense. This is not how I'd normally build an Olague if we had more options. But like I said, we're going bare minimum here. So if we go to the artifact, he is in a Bastion ring. This is base promo. This could be anything. We don't need the extra block. What I was trying to get is just the nice base stats. So you can see 2200 base stats on a 0 promo +1 mythic artifact versus, oh, he doesn't have a legendary one. But just to show you an epic one, I mean, it's night and day, right? 40-40. 440 compared to 2200. I think the legendary at base is like, I don't know, 800, something like that. Does that feel right? I don't know. We don't have one to show you. Oh, you know what I can show you? I can show you any other classes one. So we must have one from somewhere else. Here we go. Let's see. 950. So 950 versus 2200. It's a pretty big difference, right? That's 1250 of difference. So that's going to be our Olague. Going right down to Autumn, she doesn't matter at all. What I would say is if you could get her in a Mana Spring set, that would help the ult come up faster, but all she needs is max skills. So you want to get the biggest crit damage boost possible. It's super easy to skill her up. Obviously, she's a rare hero. This is so important. It's gonna increase the crit damage boost up from 30% to 60%, so it becomes twice as large. And very importantly, the initial rage is gonna go up. So when you first deploy her, and that's important because we'll be cycling her in and out. So she's gonna have more rage already when you deploy her, and the actual skill cost, the rage cost, is going to go down. This needs to be max. I will also say, for the reason we're doing here, this needs to be maxed because we do not have a max crit rate Maul. That's our DPS for this fight. She's going to allow it to totally work. So this at base, you know, without any skill ups, is only a 10% crit increase. With the skill ups, and again, it's super easy. She's a rare hero. We've got a 30% crit increase. Like I said, the build does not matter if you have these things done. Mana Spring can help, but it comes up really fast anyway. What does matter is the artifact, Tumultuous Horn. This just allows her to have another 25% initial rage, and that's 25% of the rage cap. So it costs 800 for her ultimate. So that means she starts with an extra 200 rage, and you get the nice deployment of 400, so she actually starts with 600 out of 800. It makes it really easy. This totally works without Tumultuous Horn, because she'll still start at 400, but this just makes it a lot smoother. If you didn't have Tumultuous Horn, but you did have a Mana Spring set, that would help. That will give her 3 more rage produced towards her ultimate every second. But all in all, she can work with literally no gear. She can work with no gear, no artifact. It would be even sweatier, but it would work, right? Let's go now to Maul. So this is the one a lot of people are going to be wanting. I've seen Reddit posts calling me out saying like my Maul was rigged or something. I've had many DMs saying why does his Maul work and my Maul doesn't, you know, in this example where I was the one that didn't have the Maul that worked. So I'm going to tell you right now, okay, there's a lot of things you need to check for to make sure your Maul performs as well as possible. This is as bare minimum as it's going to get, guys. So first thing you want to check for, does your Maul have a full set on the right side? If he does not have a complete set of right side gear, Obviously, the gear requirement is going to be much higher. So with the Wisdom set, whenever he triggers his ult, damage is going to be increased by 35% for 10 seconds. His ult is just one big burst, one big AoE bang boom burst, right? So this is a great skill for him. So that burst, when he does his AoE, when he throws that whale or whatever that fish is over everybody, that's going to hit for 1.35x damage, right? It's going to hit for 35% more damage. That is excellent. Obviously, that is excellent. So to overcome that, if you're not going to run a full set, you're not going to be able to get away with just over 10,051 attack. And this is good crit damage, but it's not crazy, right, for how much we have neglected the attack. So that's what I would say. You can see here we have one ancient piece, but it is a crit rate bangle. That's not very desirable at all. So that'd be a stat gain opportunity for you, but then you'd need better gear because you'd have to hunt for more crit. We didn't have very good crit, so here you go, crit damage with a nice attack bonus roll and flat attack. And then here we've got crit damage with a little bit of crit rate and a little bit of attack bonus. Going to the left side, we've got attack bonus, flat attack, crit damage, and we're using a calamity set. You absolutely have to use a set on the left side. You just always should. It's so much easier. It's only 2 pieces. And then you've got a big attack bonus roll and a tiny bit of crit and a nice chunky attack speed roll. So here's something else people forget with their Maul, and they're like, why did your Maul work and mine didn't? Well, if you completely neglect attack speed, it's going to take him forever to get his ult up. Maul has no initial cost towards his ult, right? It's a cheap ult. It's only 500, but he starts with a big fat goose egg, right? 0. So how do you overcome that? Well, you want to generate rage. One way, and the best way to generate rage, is going to be on attacks. So all these heroes have a base amount of rage they generate every time they attack and every time they are attacked. That then can be increased with rage regen percentage. That's something you can build out, but they have this innate number, right? So we want him to get out some attacks. So I'll just tell you, not to throw Jake under the bus here, but when I went on, his Maul only had 56 additional attack compared to the 123 we have now. 123 additional attack is not too much, right? But that interval was somewhere at like 3.0 seconds or 3.1 seconds. So we're going to get a couple extra attacks out now because Maul will be out on the field for like 10 or 15 or 20 seconds. And that is the difference for us getting the ult up in time because, like I said, this is a sweaty comp. There you go. I'd say the other thing to think about is artifact. So I've got a sharpshooter's crest here. We got it promo level 1. We didn't even have enough mithril to get this with the extra little enhances. So it goes. But what is important to acknowledge is from this, I'm getting a nice chunk of flat attack. That's actually how, if you look at these numbers, this doesn't add up to 10k. Well, we actually are getting a nice additional base stat contribution from our mythic artifact plus 11 of 1077, and that's bringing us up to snuff, if you will. I run him in my video. If you go check out my guide, I run him in just a maxed out Keen Wisdom, but as you can see, Jake still has some artifact farming to do, so he doesn't have any maxed out Keen Wisdom. So there's a big difference, right? A maxed out Keen Wisdom, you're going to get a bigger flat attack contribution. It's an epic, so it's a lot less, but it's still going to be different at plus 25 compared to plus 16. But on top of that, a maxed out Keen Wisdom is going to give you 16% attack increase post deployment as opposed to 12, right? So that's a lot more. That's 33% more. You're going up by 4% from 12%. So Jake was like, I'm doing your build, but it's not working. Again, not to throw Jake under the bus, but he wasn't, right? I had a maxed out plus 25 Keen Wisdom, and that's insanely free to play. It's so easy to do. It's very cheap with Mithril to upgrade your epic artifacts, and this guy drops like crazy. There are only 5 epic artifacts in the game. So those are going to be the main things with Maul. To recap, right side gear, do you have a set? If you don't, are your stats way higher? What kind of artifact are you rocking? Do you have some mythic artifact to use, or can you get like a maxed out Keen Wisdom? That's what I would suggest. People are wondering what sets to use. In my video, I use Night Terror. That's when you crit, you get another 25% damage increase. That also is sufficient, but getting no damage boost at all, whether that be from the Wisdom set or a Night Terror set, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. So you can do it, but you're just going to need much better stats, right? You just really will. So to recap, our Maul is just a smidge over 10k attack. He's got 2.5 second attack interval, 223 speed, 83% crit. Thank you, Autumn. She will make this not a problem. And a healthy amount of crit damage, which we were able to stack because we basically neglected attack. I mean, that's pretty paltry. Before I forget, a final thing to consider. In my video, my Maul was max promotion, or maybe he was A4. That is a big difference than A1. So why is that? Well, there's a couple things going on. An A0 Maul is just Maul, right? His normal kit. At A1, you get the freeze. At A3, you get the slow. A2, you get 5% more crit. That's going to make him easier to build. But a big difference is his A4. plus 5% penetration. That basically is going to lower everything a nice little chunk, right? He's going to ignore 5% of all enemies' defenses and resistances now. That is a big deal. Like, if you don't have him A4 or higher, you're going to need more stats. So that's what happened here with Jake, right? My Maul did have it, his didn't, so it wasn't adding up, on top of some other things that we have discussed. All right, I think that covers it for Maul. We had to focus on him because he's kind of the key piece people are always asking me about. On to the next one, we have got Livian, one of our sweatiest participants here. Only 5 stars, Awaken 1. How is she working? Well, we are taking strong advantage of her basic attack here. Every 3 attacks launch triggers shield bounce. Doesn't matter what that is. What matters is it inflicts stun. This stun lasts 2 seconds, which is super long on targets. She also restores a little HP, so that's pretty nice. So it's going to help her stay alive longer, but really the stun allows her to take way less damage. So even though she's not in a very strong build, I'll take you through it right now. HP bonus, flat HP. This one has all tank stats, but no purple. Here we go, nice big flat HP, so our first solid piece of gear. Nice big HP bonus. No defense bonus, but some flat defense. Here you go, another okay piece with some flat defense. Now we're going Life Force set. We've got defense bonus, HP bonus, flat defense, and then you're seeing a theme here. Defense bonus, HP bonus. But she's only 5 stars, so she only has 14.9k base HP. However, we still built her up to over 64,000 HP. Defense is not strong at just under 3,900. However, because she's going to have a little bit of healing and because she's going to be stunning the enemies a lot, she will survive long enough to do the job we need her to do. So if we look at artifacts, she's in a Bastion ring. Again, this artifact does not matter. We don't need the extra block. What we do need is the base stat contribution. So now we're getting 3,100 HP. Pretty nice when it's plus 10. So in comparison, Olague is getting 2,200 for the extra 9 levels from plus 1 to plus 10. We're getting 100 a level, right? So now we've got 3,100 HP. Could also totally work with like a Goddess Grace. Doesn't matter. We just were looking for that mythic artifact boost. I will say, if she was 6 stars, we could run her in no artifact. We don't need any boosts at all. So something to consider. This one is really nice though, because it also comes with increased reductions to physical and magic damage, depending on how many units she's blocking. But all in all, it's sufficient, right? This build got the job done. Was it sweaty? Yes. Did it work? Yes. All right, moving on to our only legendary hero, but the free-to-play queen of this game. That is Volka. So Volka is really easy. All that you need is to have her Awaken 1. That is literally it. All you need is to have this. Allies revival time minus 25. You don't need 1 drop of gear on her. Just to prove that point, I'm going to take all her gear off her. It literally doesn't matter. Her only job is to bring the skill she gains at Awakening 1, which is reducing allies revival time by 25%. This is going to allow our cycling strat to happen at all and to be dropped on enemies and die. She's literally just a warm body, and she brings a great Awakening 1. You get this as early as day 35. You get it from beating Tide 105. So if you clear 3 tides a day, you'll get it on 35. Some people will get it on day 36. Some people will get it on day 80. But you'll get it eventually. There you go. Totally free to play. It's all about how hard you've been grinding, right? That's your Volka. Nothing else to discuss. Skills don't matter. We don't use any skills. Gear doesn't matter. We don't need any gear. Artifact doesn't matter. On to the next one, we've got Decimus. Once again, gear does not matter. He is just a warm body, and we're taking advantage of 1 skill. Let's take the artifact off as well. It really doesn't matter. All that you need is that your Decimus is promotion level 1, because at promotion 1, he unlocks his skill Defiance, and then you need to skill up Defiance. So unlike Autumn, you don't need every skill skilled up for Decimus. What you do need is this, the passive. When HP drops to 0, the hero remains alive and continues to fight for 8 seconds. That's it. So basically, after he dies, he stays on the field for 8 seconds. That is exactly the amount of time you need him to remain alive to be able to take not just an initial hit from the fast running guy, formerly known as the roly-poly-oly, but also the second fast running guy, right? So that's it. That's literally all you need. Just make sure this is to level 5 plus 2 seconds to the effect duration, so it's not 6 seconds but 8, and you are cooking. That is Decimus. On to Dolores. This Dolores is the ultimate normal Dolores build. You go attack bonus with the biggest flat attack substat roll you have. You go attack bonus with the biggest flat attack substat roll you have. You go attack bonus with the biggest flat attack substat roll you have. Pretty straightforward little pattern over there on the right side. Then for the left, for the breastplate, definitely you have to go Calamity set. We're just trying to get as much attack as possible. Go for whatever has the nice balance of flat attack and attack bonus. And then obviously you get flat attack from the main stat on Calamity, so we're just looking for our Calamity piece with the biggest attack bonus roll. And all that being said, we did get Dolores to almost 12,000 attack, which is really good for an account like this. So there you go, and Jake built this himself, so great job, Jake. 11.99, so let's call it 12K. I'll round that up the extra 10 points, and that is it. For Artifact, this does matter. She does need Tumultuous Horn. You can do it without. I have done it without, but for this lower gear requirement on Maul, you're going to want it because you're going to want to get the inspiration up as fast as possible. Again, 25% additional rage. Her normal rage is 900. So what is that? So it's an extra 225. That's important. So it can be base promo. You don't need it +5 like this. I mean, this is base promo, but it can be base level +1. We have it +5. That was just to get a little bit more attack. We could scrap out a bit more attack if we wanted with this mithril. I won't though. Let's keep it sweaty. It's getting sweaty in here, huh? But there is the Tumultuous Horn. We're almost at the end now, guys. So here's a Narvi, super suboptimal build here. I actually could take off all her gear, and you know what? I will. There you go. For Artifact, just run a lucky coin on her. Lucky Legacy, they call it now. Who cares? All that matters on Narvi is that you have these two skills maxed out. Again, she's a rare hero. It's super easy to do. You want the lower cooldown on the cost generation over here from her auto, and then you want the, the lower skill cost and increased initial rage from the manual ultimate over here. This can be optimized if you have a Mana Spring set. Again, Mana Spring will give her another 3 rage regen auto per second, so that will just regenerate 3 more rage costs every second. If we look over here, Jake did not have enough pieces for a full Mana Spring set yet, so I just chose not to do it because I had no option to do it. But you can read over here, rage regen auto +3. It's really nice. So then what you could do is you could do that kind of build, and then you just want some amount of attack speed on her with maybe some rage regen percentage, because then you can get 2 ults off. However, we can't get 2 ults off, and that kind of is the reason that this run was as difficult as it had to be. If we could get 2 ults off with Narvi, as you can see in my video that I do, and some people ask, why is your Narvi getting 2 ults off and I can't? That's before the first big streak of the boss. Well, it's because you didn't have enough attack speed, you didn't have enough rage regen probably, but most likely you were not running her in a Mana Spring set. But because the Mana Spring set is not available, because we have to kill the mobs in a big burst so she doesn't get many hits out, we're not going to get 2 ults off. I know that already. So because of that, no gear needed, no artifact needed, but you could just run the Lucky Legacy because why not? Actually, you know what? I want to show it. We don't need it. We don't need it. So let's take that off. Another ungeared hero. There you have it. Everybody covered except for Vortex. This is the one that's going to be a decent build. I'll tell you, this Vortex build would not work for 220, but 219 is a bit easier. All that you need is a nice chunk of attack speed and a bunch of HP. So what are we doing here? We did get an Asclepius set on him. That's going to give some extra heal effect. That's going to give some more HP. The heal effect is nice. You want as much as you can get, but you can see only 34 here. Could probably work with 0. We really just needed a bunch of HP, and we didn't even get too much, just under 32,000. I would say you're going to want at least 28 or 29,000, but in that case, you'll need a lot more attack speed than we have here. I like to run him in an attack speed amulet. We didn't have that here for the right set for the whole build to work, but if you could do that, then actually the HP requirement's much lower. It goes up a lot for 220 and 221, but for 219, you can make it work. If you want to use this stuff to progress higher, just remember the gear requirements keep raising, but you'll also have been clearing harder content, so you'll get better gear and better artifacts and stuff like that to use. So on this first piece here, the bangle, we've got HP bonus with some flat HP and heal effect. Fine. Then we've got HP bonus with some flat HP, defense bonus, big roll there, and flat defense. We really only care about the HP. You can see no attack speed subs, which I would have loved to get. And then here we finally get our first attack speed sub. Fortunately, running him an attack bonus with flat HP and attack speed, I didn't actually know. I didn't do this Vortex build. I kept Jake's build. But you know what? Let's leave it because it worked. That 57 attack speed, though, is nice, and we do get the set bonus, so it is what it is. Here, again, not a great piece at all. We don't have any substats that really help us. I guess flat defense, but you'd love to see HP bonus on this, maybe some heal effect. Again, I will leave it. And then finally, here are some relevant subsets. Flat HP, you would love some HP bonus, again, and then some attack speed. So all in all, it is not the craziest build in the world. It is 31.9k. We got a 1.9 second interval. Ideally, towards the late and end game, you're going to want this at like 1.5 seconds. You get him over like 400, 450 attack speed. And then, you know, a little bit of heal effect at 34. No rage regen, doesn't matter. He's never going to get his ult up. He's basically just like a meat shield, and he keeps healing himself back up so he can keep taking hits. That's all that's going to go on here. And finally, for artifact, if we take a quick look, we've got a Nineveh's Mercy. When entering the field, increases heal effect by 10, so that's just plus 10 to heal effect, so now it's going to be 44. There are better options, right? Like Taya's Balm. When his health gets low and he needs a big heal, he could come in and do that. However, this is the build Jake made, and when I tried it, it worked, so let's keep it. Let's keep it nice and sweaty. Speaking of sweaty, let's get into the run now. It's getting kind of hot. I'm going to take off my jacket. Oh, baby. Let's get into it. Like I said, I will take you through this as a guide, but I'm going to go pretty quick. If you want a really slow, really in-depth, comprehensive guide, I'll have in the top pinned comment my official definitive 219 guide. Alrighty, guys, here we go. POD is off. Let's head into the fight. You know the comp. Let's see the battle. So I'll talk you through as much as I can, but we just want a nice, smooth run here. So first thing we do is place Narvi. You can have her pointed in. For this comp, we don't need it, but if it was the kind of comp where you wanted to get a second ult off, it could be pretty nice to have that, because she'll generate rage when these mobs congregate here. Whenever she attacks, she'll generate some more rage towards that second ult, but that second ult ain't going to happen for us. We could do it, but the way we'd have to do it is we'd have to hold off on killing these guys for as long as possible, and there's no real point in doing that for us, because then we can't properly cycle Maul later in the fight. I hope that makes sense. So we wait. As soon as Baron's ready, and this guy's kind of into the square Baron was going to be dropped in, we can drop. As soon as Dolores is ready, we can trigger her, and we're good to go. So we can use Dolores here, because even if Maul doesn't crit, these first two guys are a bit easier to kill, so we will kill them regardless. So there we go. Eliminated. As soon as they're gone, we can pick up Dolores, Maul, and Baron. We wait for one more trigger from Narvi's auto, just to give us a little bit more costs. Come on, trigger. There it is. We pick her up, and now we've got 63, 64. It's going to be about 70 costs by the time he shrieks. So that's the end of the intro part of the fight. Here comes Shriek number 1, which means it's time for phase 1 of the fight, as I like to call it. This is the first thing that trips people up, is the Decimus timing, so I'll try to slow it down and talk you through it. All right, let's throw it on 1x. Here comes this guy. See, the boss is about to do his big slam. He does it. You see a flash of light. When the flash disappears, that's when you can drop Decimus. That will give you the full 8 seconds in the right staggering that you need to really make this work. So here comes this guy. Click on Decimus. As soon as he makes contact, he puts his head back. You see the numbers appear above their heads. That's when you can pick up Decimus. Now you place, you place, you place, and you can see when they hit someone, these running guys, that's why we need Decimus to take a hit from both of them. They lose like over half their health, which is now great because we're going to place Olague, and they're going to lose the other half. We can place Livian, our second tank, and we place Dolores. So now we're fully set up to succeed here. You'll see a nice thing with Maul is he's got this 1 extra tile of range, which puts the boss in his range, which allows him to get some more hits out to generate more and more rage. So because we just want to get that ult off as quickly as possible and then move on with our lives. Because this first phase is not the problem, right? It's the later phases. We wait, we wait, we wait. So trigger, trigger. Now, wait 1 second. You wait till these guys turn and start facing us. That in the back, that's when you can trigger Maul. Now you can already start picking everyone up. Let's pick up, pick up, pick up, and we're on to phase 2. So here comes Shriek number 2. We're waiting, we're waiting. All right, so as soon as he does the Shriek, as soon as you see the animation, you can already start placing Baron and Decimus. They won't take any damage, and because he's not going to start doing the pounding Earthshake until these guys have already been hit by the first 2 running men on each side, it doesn't matter, right? So might as well just get him down already and save yourself the trouble. Throw it on 1x here. So this guy, as soon as he crashes into Decimus, let's click, you see the numbers, now you pick him up, wait for this guy to turn around, now you can pick up Baron. So basically he like hits Baron and then he kind of does a 180. Now we can drop Narvi and Volka right on top. I told you they're just meat sacks. Now let's get Vortex and the tanks and everybody down as soon as possible. Here comes Maul. There is going to be Dolores. Now you see we're a bit tight on cost, but we're going to make it work. We need to get Livian out before autumn here. That's really important. So you see how close that is? I told you it's super sweaty, because if he was more than halfway into the tile, then he would have gone behind her. Because he was like just about halfway or just before halfway, he turns around. So we wait, we wait. We do Autumn last because she gets her ult up. She's the fastest. Let's trigger Dolores. Now let's get Autumn down. You can see she only needs 200 cost here. She has the 400 initial plus the 200 from the Tumultuous Horn. And now we're just waiting for Maul to generate that gosh darn rage. Come on, baby. Trigger Autumn. He's going to start his countdown in a second, but we'll be okay. Let's trigger, and we can already start picking everybody up. And they're all dead, except for this one fool. Hopefully he can pick him off. One more hit, Maul. One more hit. Come on, buddy. Got him. I told you it's sweaty, baby. I told you it's sweaty. I could have left Dolores out there for one more second. I just wanted to make sure I had her up. But if I did, I think he would have got one hit, not 2 hits to kill the guy at the end. But if it works, baby. Let's continue. We can get Baron down right away. But we have to wait. So as this guy's about to enter the square we're dropping Decimus in, that's when we let go with Decimus. Throw it back on 2x. And now the same thing you've seen twice before, right? We wait. He makes contact. Throw your little head back. See the number. You pick up. Now you wait for this guy to turn around, show you his back. Now you pick up Baron. Let's get ready with Narvi. The reason I say these specific timings is that's how you allow these guys to be stacked. And then you don't have to worry about your Narvi build or your Volka build at all. Throw this thing on 2x. We're just waiting for Decimus to come back alive or get ready for redeployment. Drop him here. He needs to take 2 hits, so 2 big swings. As soon as he starts the second swing animation, he goes. Now you can pick him up. Now let this guy come. He's going to turn red and start pounding the ground, but there's no reason to keep pounding because there's no one else out there. So as soon as he turns blue, you can start deploying everybody. So here comes Olague. Here comes Vortex. Now we have to wait. It's a very tight cost comp, but once those 2 guys are out and he's done with his big smashes, there's nothing else left really to do. So we can get Dolores down. Now we get Autumn down. Always do Autumn last, like I said, because she's the one that's going to have the ult coming up the quickest. See, it's still going to be basically the same amount of time it took them, even though Dolores was out like 5 seconds earlier. So as soon as Maul's ready, we do it. And at this point, we can just throw it on auto. So we can put, I don't know, you're wearing some gear, right, Baron? Let's put him here. Maybe he'll get a little speed up slightly. There you guys go. About as free to play, about as sweaty as possible. If you have any more questions, let me know. But just to recap, the things to remember, right, is like, is your Maul wearing a set? What kind of artifacts are you running on your heroes? Are they the right artifacts? Are you getting the right amount of stats or the right abilities from them? Are you getting nice base stats? Should you just throw on a mythic artifact for some nice flat stats? Maybe, probably, right? What kind of thought is going into all these decisions? Do you have your rare heroes skilled up properly? Are they all promotion 1, so they've unlocked their special abilities, right? These are the things to consider. If you, like I said, if you have any questions, there you go. But here you go. I'm not just some streamer with rigged luck or something. This is Jake, a normal guy's account, and we got it done. Super duper free to play. Look at that. Level 60, level 60, level 60, level 60, 50, 50, 50, 40, 40. I think 3 or 4 of these guys are literally wearing no gear and no artifact. You get the picture, and we even got a thumbs up little, that's okay, I don't know, little glacier ring. The thumbs up in this game are a disaster. There you go, guys. Do not forget the code. Let me throw that back on the screen right now. That's going to be YTB100K fans. Interesting that they call us fans and not players. But that's a story for another day. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was an absolute biatch to film. Share it with your mother. I'll see you in the next one. And thank you, Jake, for lending your account.
Fastidious.